to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this textured minimalist art. I am obsessed with this style. I've seen it all over Pinterest and I looked into ordering one of these for our little boho therapy room that we have upstairs, and they were all pretty expensive and not exactly what I was wanting. So I looked into it and it's actually super simple to make this. I'm going to show you how to make this in this video and what materials that you need, where you can get it, and a little bit of some tips and tricks that I wish I knew when I started making this. Everything that I use to make this is available on Amazon Prime. I'm linking everything through my Amazon storefront below. They are not sponsoring this video, but I do get a commission if you use my links. So if you're going to be using anything in this video, I would appreciate it so much if you use my links. Anyway, I'm super happy with how this turned out. It's perfect for what I'm looking for in my room. You can see the room tour at the end of this video. I'll take you through the step-by-step process on how I made this and some things that I wish I knew when I started this project. I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and please send me any pictures if you decide to make something similar. I'd love to see how it turned out. Let's talk a little bit about plaster versus the joint compound. I was originally going to do plaster because all of the videos I had seen were using plaster, but as I was watching the videos, it looked like it was drying quickly and they tend to crack. So I decided to go with the joint compound because it is more spreadable. You can work with it for a longer period of time and it's not supposed to crack as much. You can see here it cracked just a little bit, but honestly barely for how much product is on here, and I really like the tiny cracks because it gives a little bit more of that rustic feel. The joint compound I really liked. It was really inexpensive. I'll link it below, and the best thing about it is that you can continue to redo it over and over. Now, when it comes to cracking, the plaster is supposed to be worse and joint compound is supposed to be better with cracking. I am really happy with how it turned out. I don't think it cracked too much, but I noticed the spots where there are a little bit of cracking, it's where I had like a ton of joint compound there. So you can see on the top, there's no cracking at all. On this arch, there's no cracking because there wasn't as much product on there. So if you really don't want cracking, which a lot of people do because it's kind of a look, but if you really don't want cracking, then I would use less product and try to spread it out a little more evenly. I'm going to use this 20 by 24 that I got from Michael's. I felt like this was the best size for the space in my room. It might even be a little too small, but I wanted it to be tall so I can kind of get the design that I'm going for going a long way. Besides the canvas, these are the only 3 things that I'm going to be using. I'm only going to use this first spatula probably, but it came in a set like this on Amazon and it was only about $8, I think, so I'll link all this below. And then I felt like this had the right texture for what I'm going for. It had enough notches, but we'll see. This is my first time doing it, so I think this will be good. And then I got a small all-purpose joint compound. This I also got on Amazon. They were completely out of it at Home Depot, Target, literally everywhere did not have this, so I will link this below for you guys. And then of course, after I went on a whole escapade to find this all-purpose joint compound, I found these ginormous bins in my garage that I could have used, but that's okay. We're gonna use this small one today. And that's all you need. These 3 items you can get on Amazon. I'll link everything below this video. Okay, so believe it or not, this is actually super hard to film where you can see what I'm doing. So this is the setup we have. Can't sit in the chair because you guys wouldn't be able to see enough. So I'm on the floor with this. I just opened this. I'm super nervous. Hopefully I don't make a mess because I wanted the background to be, you know, the vibe instead of doing it on my kitchen table. But I couldn't really film on my kitchen table. There was no place for me to really put my camera. So I opened the joint compound and this is kind of like left over on the lid, so I'm just gonna kind of put it on here. I'm scared. Okay. So I'm just gonna slap that on and try not to get it on anything. Then what I'm gonna do to start off with design that I want is just kind of working it in straight lines. Okay, I feel like I need like a lot more, so I'm just gonna kind of try to dump it on here and hope that my canvas stays balanced on this little tiny table. I'm seeing that the joint compound is really moldable and easy to work with, so if you mess up, you can just keep playing with it. Okay, so now that I've pretty much covered the whole thing with the joint compound, I'm going to add more of it to the bottom because I'm going to be using the ridges to do design down here. So I want it to have more space down here so it's not like where the canvas is showing through. And then I'm gonna start to kind of work in, or attempt to work in, the design that I am wanting. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of work it. I want it to be like lines and then like just some nice lines that are textured, and then do the little arches with the ridge tool. So I'm gonna attempt that. Okay, I'm scared. That actually took so long just to fill this in. So now I'm gonna use this tool, and I think I'm gonna start with like a smaller arch here. I'm just gonna do it. I kind of love this, but now what do I do with this huge chunk? Okay. You know what, you guys? I think I'm finally happy with it. It's really hard to do a project like this when you're a perfectionist and the whole point of the abstract piece is imperfection and texture, and so this was a good exercise for me. It took me a lot longer than I thought, but I'm gonna let this dry a little bit and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so I turned the ring light off so you guys can kind of see the texture a little bit better. I'm gonna let this dry, but first I'm gonna take this little spatula and kind of clean up the edges. The edges, it's not that important because I'm going to have them frame it, but if you're not framing yours, definitely clean up the edges. Okay, so here's what it looks like while it's drying. It's going to dry white, so it'll look a little bit better and kind of fill in those spaces, but I feel like this is as good as it was gonna get because it started kind of not drying too much, but drying a little bit to where it was a little bit harder to work it in. And then once you redo one of the lines, then you got to redo all of them because it kind of messes it up. So I'm pretty happy with it. And then I'm going to put a wooden frame around and then put it up here on this wall to kind of fill in the space here. And it'll go right above this pampas grass here, and maybe I'll add some shelves with little succulents or something like that. I don't know. So here's what it looks like the next day. It has a slightly gray hue still, so it's not fully dry. So I'm gonna give it another day or two and then take it to get framed. Okay, so I'm at Michael's. I'm having a hard time picking between this lighter wood or this one. I really like this also, but it's a little too dark for the room. I feel like this one would match my shelves better, but I like the aesthetic of this one better. So I think I'm gonna end up going with this one. It has more of the minimalist effect. I think this one would match better, but for me, it's just a little too distracting. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with this. So good. Here is the finished product. I'm really happy with it, you guys. Now let's hang it up. Okay, so I have it hung up and I put it here in this spot here because then you can kind of see it in my mirror. I have the big anthropology mirror that I just had to have. So let me show you guys how it looks in the room. This is our therapy room. I've showed it in my videos briefly. But here she is. I love it. I think it goes with the room so well. I need to move this over. It's like out of place there. But I think, you know, I could maybe put like some shelves here with like little succulents or something later on. But this is how it looks in the room. I think it matches the ladder perfectly and kind of like the wood tones that I have throughout the room. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you hit subscribe, and I'm going to be posting another one of these minimalist type art, except it's going to be really big. So make sure you subscribe and put on notifications so you don't miss that.